Welcome, it's Center Centers. Please introduce yourself. Let us know what you play in the band.
Hey, I'm Steve. I play guitar and I sing in Center Centers.
And my name is Sam. I play keyboard and I sing as well in the band Center Centers.
Great. Tell us where you originally come from.
From Europe, from France and Holland, actually. We met in France. Sam's from Holland.
Ah.
I was born in Holland and then my family moved to France, so I grew up in France.
And what part of France?
I don't know if you ever heard of Clermont-Ferrand. That's where the Michelin tires are from, actually.
Oh, wow.
So that's a factory city.
And what part of the country is that?
That's
East or
right in
west?
the middle.
Right in the middle?
Yeah, it's like in the volcanoes area. It's like a
Okay.
bunch of mountains, and it's right in the middle of that, surrounded.
So please tell us about your, musical inspirations, who you like to listen to growing up, and who inspired you to want to make music together.
There's a lot. Like, grew up listening to the Doors and the Rolling Stones and the Stooges and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's kind of what started the whole thing, especially the Stooges. Like see that you can actually start a band even if you don't really know how to play your instrument. Basically, the whole
Sure.
like.
There was more attitude than musical
Yeah, once
expertise.
if you can play one or two chords, then you can start writing songs and make some pretty cool stuff. Even keeping it basic.
And they always had great shows, so
Yeah.
great performers, so that's important too.
Absolutely. And how about you? Any other artists that were inspiring to you?
Probably the same too, in general. I don't know if I have anything else to add.
We kind of grew up together, so we've been together since we're 15. So we grew up on the same music, I guess, like listening to the same kind of stuff.
Okay, great. And what was the idea when you formed the band? Did you have any kind of preset idea as far as the kind of music? Did it just kind of evolve, or what was your hope to do, with the band?
Oh, yeah. When we started, actually, we wanted to start as a two-piece, so like drum machine and keyboard and guitar, kind of like Sisters of Mercy is doing. And then I don't know, we like recorded the album, and then we had a drummer coming in to record the album, and another guitar player to do some solos, and a bass player, and it sounded much better with all that, so we went with a 5-piece.
And for as far as the kind of music, I think what we like to do is just have everything that we like, put it together, and just not be stuck to one kind of thing. So it's not punk rock, it's not rock, it's a little bit of everything, and that's what we like to do.
Well, yeah, we've been trying to not put like any really like limits on what we should do. Like my band. I used to be in a band where every time we would write a song, we would be thinking, "Oh, is that fine for us? Doesn't it sound like too different or whatever?" So I was kind of bummed about this. So when we started this band, I was like, well, it's not put any limit to what we want to do. We want to, even if we might lose some crowd or something.
Yeah.
Some people might not like it, but at least we do. So
I mean, if it's good music, let it be.
yeah.
Don't force it. So obviously, LA is where so many of these bands like the Doors and the so many groups over the years come from. What was the decision to move to Los Angeles, and how do you feel with all the creativity out here?
Well, I mean, we came here to record and to play like a few shows. We came like 2 or 3 times, and we liked it a lot, so we figured that we would be better here. Also because there's so many, shows all the time. You can literally see like 1,000 bands every night in this town, so it's pretty crazy. But as far as like the creativity, I'd say it kind of slowed us down because it's like, yeah, it's, I mean, it's cool. There's plenty of stuff to do. When back in our hometown, there was pretty much nothing to do but play music. So you know, you get stuff done easier.
Yeah.
And then here you get a lot of how do you say that?
Potential distractions.
Yeah, distractions. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really easy to get lost in the surfing and skateboarding and partying and there's a lot more going on. So
Yeah. I know some groups even from here that will go somewhere isolated to
Yeah.
record because there's nothing else to do but record.
yeah.
You know.
But I mean, that's something we love about it too. But it's just, I guess that kind of things takes more time. Probably, set up rehearsals, set up shows, and everything takes a little bit more time because you have stuff to do.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the process of, writing the music and recording, your latest album. Well, how do you come up with the ideas? What's the whole process like to come with the finished album?
It's usually just it starts with like a guitar riff. That's what I did for the first record, the second record, and I'm doing it currently for the next one. So like the third one, it starts with a guitar riff that I usually like record on my computer or something, and then I try different stuff, like try some melodies over it and like try some bass, and then put some keyboard and everything and see what goes together, and then we end up with like maybe a 30-second or like 45-second bit of a song, and then we try to make it a song. Sometimes there's like, I'm gonna have like 50 of those, so I see that like a bunch of them fit together, so we're gonna put 2 or 3 in one song, and then so basically start with like writing the music, having everything as we wanted and tied with the music, and then very like at last comes the lyrics. That's the last thing that comes in, because obviously, I mean, we're not, English is not our first language, so it takes a lot of work to write stuff, and I mean, it's not, we're not really, I mean, how do you say that? Sorry. I'm going to try to reformulate the whole thing.
Yeah. I understand. It's the music is the foundation.
Yeah.
You
I mean, we're not about lyricist, I guess.
Right. Right. The words go on top.
Yeah.
Not
The words are
necessarily-
based on the music, and then the melody of the vocals, and then the words go with that. So it's more trying to find a good word. I mean, even though on this one we worked a lot on the lyrics previous to the recording, and we were helped by one of our friends he plays in the Vigil. His name is Daniel Siplinski, and so he helped me a lot with that. Like I would come into his place with my lyrics, and well, can you check it out? Is that proper English? Is that, can I say it like that? And then he would tell me like, well, maybe you should tweak a few words and like say it this way, and still I would be like, well, that's not gonna work with my melody or something. So we would work around. So he helped me a lot with the lyrics. So that's that was something that we didn't have on the first record, where the English is. I'm sorry.
No problem.
This is crazy.
So, did you know early on that your music would have to be in English to have the best chance to get out to the world?
Yeah, and I mean, like we've never really thought that my other band before was in English too, and I don't think I've never even listened to like French rock. I don't think.
Doesn't really
Yeah, I don't think the language really has the good.
It's not aggressive, I would say.
I don't know. It's just like the sound of French doesn't really fit with rock and roll. So. And I mean, most of the bands that we know in France, most of our friends' band and everything that are like in rock and roll, punk rock, metal, and everything, they pretty much all sing in English. It's just a matter. But the thing in France is that nobody really understand what you're saying if you sing in English, so you don't really care about what you're saying. You know, you can like just a few words that sound English that might not even be, you know, mean anything, but it's just, well, that's an English word, so let's put it together. The melody works with that; it sounds fine. That's how we started, at least. You know.
Sure.
But then we got here, and then we're like, oh, but people now understand these words and
Yeah.
they don't mean anything. So that's also why we really try to spend more time on the lyrics on the second album. Also because we've been here for a few years, so our English is a little better. But that was important for us too, to have something that sounded right.
Yeah, because now we can understand what we're saying too. So
Yeah.
we don't want it to be embarrassing, you know.
Sure. Well, I mean, you know, the vocals can essentially be like another instrument, like you say. I mean, we all know classic records. We don't know what they mean anyway.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
but it's nice to know that you have, you know, more of a command. You're able to communicate more, and
Well, at least it's got to sound like it means something.
yeah, that's great. Now, besides performing live and making great music, are there any other tools or, you know, social media, anything that you're doing now to help get the music more exposed or to keep in touch with your fans? How are you doing that?
Well, I mean, you know, we've done a bunch of videos, like music videos or like acoustic video, or I mean, that's kind of something you have to do nowadays if you want to put it out there. You know, I remember when we did our first record, we did a music video like right away, and that was it was kind of, you know, a big deal at the time, because a lot of bands around us didn't have music videos, and it wasn't still, you know, we didn't have any like I mean, it was 2009, so I guess you could have gear to film a music video, but if you wanted to have like really music video quality, it would be like really expensive material still. You couldn't. I mean, it was kind of like not the beginning of YouTube or something, but it was still hard to, you know, to get the good gear and the people like to do it.
Yeah.
When nowadays you can like buy a professional, like something that's even a phone is gonna look pro, you know. What I mean?
Yeah.
So,
No, I knew like 10 years ago making a music video was like
oh yeah.
making a movie, you know,
Yeah,
it costs
definitely.
like tens of thousands of
Tapes,
dollars and, you know, big director and whatever. But yeah, now it's really more along the recording process, you know, it's
Yeah.
something more basic or creative that even the band can do themselves.
Well,
you know.
actually, we did our music video that we did for the song Riot. We did with one of those GoPro
Yeah.
cameras. They're like big like this, and you wear it on like a head strap. And took us like an hour and a half to do, and the budget for the video was like $10. That was just what we needed to buy a few light bulbs, and that was it.
Yeah, a no budget video.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yes.
And no, we did it by yourself. Like nobody. Well, one of our friends was helping out, just because he wanted to. But we could have done it, you know, just the band.
That's great. Now, you're seeing here in America more and more festivals. You know, they've obviously always been popular in Europe and France and Germany and UK. And now, especially with the success of Coachella, you're seeing Bonnaroo and Outside Lands and more festivals, you know, coming to America. What's your feeling about those? And you feel that this might be, you know, more opportunities for the band to get heard?
Yeah, I mean that's something that we'd love to do. I'm not really big into like going there as a, you know, as a spectator, because I'm kind of scared of crowds and stuff like that, you know. And it's so gigantic, and
They always take place in the summer when it's really
that
hot.
too.
Yeah.
And even at Coachella, it's I mean, we've never been, but it just looks so difficult to stay there for 3 days under the sun, the heat, and
But yeah, like play there, man. It would be
Tiring.
playing there with that any festival. There's a whole lot of festivals, even in LA, that are really interesting.
And I think like something like Coachella is still like really different than what we used to in Europe, because in Europe, like the festival crowd is more. It's really more like I guess for people like us, you know, like more like working class or like because it's pretty cheap, you know, like you'll get a pass for like 3 or 4 days for like 80 $100 maybe, and the beer is gonna be like $2 or something. When something like Coachella is like what, it's $400 for. So yeah, I think I feel it's more like a higher class type of thing. Like you need to have, you know.
And also the crowds are a little different. Like in France, or in France and in Europe, there are a lot of festivals, so you choose to go to see some specific bands. Here at Coachella, people just go because it's Coachella. It's a little different approach, where in France you're gonna be like, oh, there's like 10 festivals, I'm gonna pick these 2 because those are the bands I want to see.
Most of the time though, like if you look at the festivals in Europe, it's the same bands playing pretty much every one of them.
Sure.
And it's they're not far apart too, so you know you can really you can drive 5 hours and see the same lineup
Right.
like the next.
A lot of them are out in the countryside where there's big open fields. Well, yeah, it seems like the concert business here is becoming bigger and bigger business. So costs a lot more to put on the shows and book the artists, and hence, you know, a higher
But I
ticket
mean, there's
price.
still a lot of like festivals that are more affordable too. But Coachella in particular seems to be more for like I guess richer.